Eiji's life was ordinary. Until it wasn't. One morning, he wakes up to a reality that feels altered. Welcome to Manga Corp. If you enjoy stories like this, hit that like button and subscribe. The night begins with a party, loud and boisterous. Eiji and his friends, Kashiwagi and Satoru, are playing a drinking game, the kind where you have to plunge a small object into a barrel. Eiji is up, feeling the pressure, his friends egging him on. He throws the object, a desperate, strained effort. It misses. He loses the game, a one-shot knockout. His punishment reveals one secret about himself. Eiji is reluctant, but his friends insist. He clears his throat, nervous. He admits it. He's a virgin. The girls are shocked. His friends incredulous. The next morning, October 24th, Eiji wakes up in his messy room. He checks his phone, smiling at messages from his friends. He stretches, feeling surprisingly good despite the drinking. Then he notices something. A bare leg. Right next to him. A girl with long, dark hair smiles up at him. "Good morning, Eiji-kun." Eiji is shocked. He's naked. He has no memory of this girl or how she got there. She's Kyoka Yukimura, a pretty girl from his university. Kyoka teases him, asking if he's upset she didn't let him get any last night. She confirms they're dating, and she wants to take things slow. Eiji, still reeling from the memory loss, tries to play it cool. Kyoka kisses him on the cheek and borrows his shirt before leaving. Eiji is left alone, utterly confused. He can't recall a single moment of the night before, or how he ended up dating Kyoka. He wonders if he has amnesia, or if he's somehow time-traveled. He even entertains the idea of awakening psychic powers. Suddenly, he encounters Rei Shin Myojo, a quiet goth girl from his class. She stares at him intently. Eiji is unnerved, knowing she's a loner who never speaks. As he tries to leave, she speaks. It's the usual Eiji. He's never spoken to her before, yet she acts as if they're friends. He wonders if something significant happened to him during his memory gap. Later, Kyoka messages him, wanting to walk home together. He's happy, but Kashiwagi warns him about his real secret that makes girls leave. Kyoka surprises Eiji, eager to go eat. They walk together, stopping to smell osmanthus flowers. Kyoka asks to stay over again, and Eiji, flustered, asks about her clothes. They head to a convenience store for essentials, a toothbrush, makeup remover, and then Eiji sees them, condoms. His heart pounds. Kyoka laughs, having caught him thinking about sex. Later, Eiji asks Kyoka why she's dating him. She says he saved her from a delinquent, calling him mysterious and reliable. Eiji has no memory of this event. Kyoka playfully squishes his cheeks, telling him not to look away from her. Eiji feels like he's experiencing the best day of his life. They decide to pick up beers, and Kyoka again teases him about his intentions. Eiji tries to tell her something important, but hesitates. He promises to tell her later. Suddenly, a man with a camera appears. He introduces himself as Hosaku Isun, a freelance writer. Hosaku immediately starts asking Eiji personal questions. He knows Eiji lives alone, and asks about a recent fight where Eiji hurt someone. Hosaku refuses to leave, saying he can't let that incident from 15 years ago be forgotten. Eiji begs him to stop, not in front of Kyoka. Hosaku smiles, asking if Eiji has told his girlfriend. Eiji is desperate, grabbing Hosaku's arm. "Stop it! Don't say it!" But Hosaku reveals the truth. "You're the son of a serial killer." Hosaku continues, detailing the LL murders from 15 years ago. University girls went missing, their bodies found terribly mutilated. The murderer, known as LL, was Eiji's own father, Makoto Hachinoi. Hosaku tells Eiji he shouldn't dream of a happy life. Eiji is devastated, thinking no one would want anything to do with him. He knew this would happen, but Kyoka reacts unexpectedly. She hits Eiji with her bag, then turns on Hosaku. She yells at the reporter, defending Eiji fiercely. Who cares what his father did? It has absolutely nothing to do with Eiji-kun. She chases Hosaku away, angry. Kyoka admits she already knew about his father. Rumors about him were everywhere at school, but to her it doesn't matter. You're not your father. You're your own person. Eiji is overwhelmed. He starts to cry, confused by his own tears. Kyoka gently tells him to smile, reminding him of his own philosophy: life's all about having fun. She pulls him into a hug. She jokes that crying won't get him sex, but she'll let him kiss her. A few days later, Eiji visits his parents. They're delighted to hear he has a girlfriend, and even more so that she knows about his past and still wants to be with him. Eiji asks about his sister. His mother replies, "Nothing's changed. She's the same as usual." The next day, Eiji sees Rei Shinmyojo again in a school hallway. She speaks again, her words cryptic and unsettling. The stagnant water collects where the eyes cannot see. If the eyes remain averted, the water will eventually burst from the lid and overflow to its surroundings. The festering water will one day grab hold of your leg and never let go. Eiji is bewildered by her sudden eloquence and ominous warnings. She tells him he cannot escape his reality. "You will forever be the son of the serial killer, Makoto Hashinoi." She warns him to face that reality before he commits an atrocity he can never reverse. Days later, on November 1st, a new crime scene is discovered. Detectives Momoi-san and Inu arrive. The male detective, Inu, is visibly distressed by the sight. Momoi-san, though outwardly tough, admits she's never seen a corpse like this. The victim was severely tortured. The disfigured female corpse, wrapped and surrounded by insects, is a horrifying sight. Momoi-san realizes the grim truth. It's the same as 15 years ago. LL is back. The name of the brutal serial murderer, LL, is Makoto Hashinoi. He was a killer unlike any other, beginning his reign of terror at just 19 when he participated in the beating and murder of a classmate. Due to his age, he received a pardon, but this incident was merely the trigger for the demon he would become. 2 years later, at 21, the body of a missing college girl was found in the mountains of Ruby. Her body was beaten, torn apart, pried open, stabbed, and burned. These inhumane acts of torture were LL's calling card, and 4 more female bodies were soon discovered in the same mountains, all bearing similar wounds. Hachinoi managed to evade the police for a time, but was eventually cornered. He committed suicide by setting himself on fire. It was a vague end to a demon who had shaken the world. But a message found shortly before his death sparked a controversial theory. LL will kill again. 15 years later, the LL murders still captivate the world, revealing one chilling truth. Serial killer LL, Makoto Hachinoi, had a son, a child fated to live a cursed life. Meanwhile, Eiji is startled awake by a doorbell, only to be tackled in a tight hug by Kyoka Yukimura, his girlfriend. She reminds him of a date he'd apparently promised, showing him proof on her phone. Eiji, flustered, apologizes profusely and offers to treat her to a nice dinner. As he gets ready, Eiji wonders if he really promised the date, and then discovers a surprising 30,000 Japanese yen on his floor. He shrugs it off as luck, and they head out for their date. They spend the day together, shopping, eating ice cream, and eventually, Kyoka leads him to an expensive restaurant. Eiji's hand trembles as he holds a glass of champagne, a subtle sign of his unease. His phone vibrates, but he dismisses it as a rabid fan or an intense booty call, trying to play it off for Kyoka. But the caller, a woman with light, long curly hair, is screaming curses into her phone. She curses him as the accursed son of the demonic killer, LL. Kyoka acknowledges the difficulty of being chased by reporters because of his father. Eiji admits he constantly tells himself he's not the one who killed those people, but he knows others don't see it that way. He recalls a childhood memory, being called a killer's kid, and scary after a fight where he threw a vase. Kyoka reassures him, telling him she understands him very well. Eiji reflects that his life has been heavy, like drawing the most unlucky straw. But Kyoka's words that life isn't always bad fill him with happiness. Later, Kyoka embraces him, telling him not to let anything get to him. Eiji is grateful, but a chilling realization dawns on him. He has no memory of what he said to her. The next morning, Eiji wakes up in bed next to Kyoka. He receives a message from his friend Kashiwagi, asking him to sit in for a lecture tomorrow, Friday. Eiji is confused, believing today is Sunday, October 30th. But his phone clearly shows the date, November 3rd, Thursday. He's lost 4 days. Time has flashed forward again. Now it's November 4th, Friday. Eiji is deeply distressed. This isn't a one-off incident. He has no memory of the 4-day blank, and something is clearly happening to his body. He needs to find out why. He has a bad feeling about this. Suddenly, Shinmyoji appears, asking him a philosophical question about the boundary between sky and space. Eiji is surprised to see her. Shinmyoji reveals that Eiji told her the answer 3 days ago. She knows he doesn't remember. She asks about the length and frequency of his memory voids. Eiji is shocked, demanding to know how she knows. Shinmyoji calmly explains it's through her observations and inferences, and that leading statements can be a useful tool. She reveals their conversation about the sky and space was a lie. She warns him to never trust the simplest answer, to ascertain the boundary of truth himself. Otherwise, he will be deceived, used, and destroyed. Eiji asks by who. Her answer is chilling. The other Eiji. She suspects he has dissociative identity disorder, a split personality. She calls this other personality B1. Shinmyoji warns that if he lets B1 do as he wishes, something horrible may result. Eiji is in disbelief, asking how he could suddenly develop a split personality. Shinmyoji reminds him of the stagnant water he has been averting his eyes from. She had warned him it would eventually burst and overflow. Eiji remembers the hateful papers plastered on his door, calling him an accursed son and demon's child. He realizes this explains his amnesia, his weird actions, and how he was different during those times. He tries to rationalize B1, recalling that B1 only picked a fight to protect Kyoka, and that thanks to him, Eiji is now dating her. He wonders if B1 is a cool guy who would cooperate with him. Eiji decides to write B1 a letter, believing he shouldn't judge him without getting to know him first. As he sits down to write, a sudden noise startles him. He finds a 10,000 yen bill in his drawer. Then another, and another. A huge pile of 10,000 yen bills is hidden there. He has no idea where it came from. What is B1's aim? Then, Eiji sees it, a bloody baseball bat. His eyes widen in terror. B1 can't be a good person. The words echo in his mind. LL will kill again. Eiji stares at the impossible sum. 30 million yen. About 300,000 USD. And then, the bloody baseball bat. What has B1 done? Eiji tries to act normal at school, pulling his cap low, but his mind races. He asks his friends, Kashiwagi and the blonde-haired boy, if anything seems strange about him in the last few days. They joke about his fugitive look and his new girlfriend, Kyoka, oblivious to his real fear. Eiji then directly asks Kyoka if she noticed anything odd about him between October 30th and November 2nd. She thinks for a moment, then smiles. Nothing. No one noticed anything different at all. Eiji is left alone, distressed. He needs to find out what B1 is like, what he's done, and what he plans to do. Suddenly, two figures in dark suits approach him. You're Eiji Urashima-kun, correct? A police badge flashes. Eiji's eyes widen in terror. He's taken to an empty cafeteria for questioning. As coffee is offered, Eiji's mind races, flashing to the bloody bat and the stacks of money. He squeezes the can in his hand, distressed. The police ask about his whereabouts on Sunday, October 16th, 3 weeks ago, right before his memory blank. He explains his alibi, a part-time job at a soccer match, home by 7 p.m., asleep before 9 p.m. He realizes they aren't here about B1. The officers then show him a photo. Do you recognize this woman? Eiji says no. He's never seen her before. The police confirm his alibi for October 16th. Then, the woman in the dark suit drops a bombshell. Eiji-kun, you said you don't recognize this woman, but according to our investigation, someone can testify that the two of you were dating. Eiji is stunned. This woman? Yoko Hatanaka. She's your girlfriend, correct? Eiji denies it. Shouts it. How can I be dating her? The police reveal Yoko Hatanaka went missing on October 16th, the very day Eiji claims to have been asleep. 4 days ago, her body was discovered. It was not an accident. Eiji is horrified. She was slaughtered, exactly the same way the women from the LL murders were killed 15 years ago. And during the whole time, she was conscious. Her fingers were cut off while she was alive. Her skin was peeled off. Both of her ears were torn off. The police reiterate, we also found testimony that you were her boyfriend. Eiji questions if this is a coincidence or something inevitable. Then, the woman in the dark suit delivers the final crushing blow. You understand what I'm trying to say, right? Son of the murderer, Eiji Hachinoi? Eiji's world shatters. He denies the murder. But a terrifying thought takes root. What if B1 already existed on October 16th? What if his other self surfaced during those short hours he was asleep? If B1 had existed long before he realized it, then he would be the murderer. Eiji continues to deny everything to the police. After he leaves, Detective Inu and Momoi-san discuss the interview. Inu believes Eiji's panic is a confession. Momoi-san, however, describes the killer as cunning, calculating, and insane. Someone who can hide their true nature and remain calm in front of the police. She finds Eiji's panic inconsistent with her profile. But if he's not the killer, she concludes, he must be involved. They will conduct a thorough investigation on Eiji Urashima. Alone, Eiji is overcome with nausea. He vomits into a sink, denying it again. It's not me. I would never kill anyone. He washes his hands, panting. Then he sees it, a dark stain on the cloth in his hand. His eyes widen in shock. It's a severed ear with an earring. Bloody, his own hand is holding it. He screams. The smiling face of Yoko Hatanaka overlays his horror. Kyoka Yukimura is in the kitchen, preparing dinner, her cheerful voice calling out to Eiji. He tries to respond, to act normal, but his mind is elsewhere. Kyoka notices his distant expression. He forces a smile, praising her cooking, claiming everything tastes amazing. But his eyes betray him. Bloodshot. The image of the severed ear flashes in his mind. He can't taste anything. Kyoka, meanwhile, seems to be experiencing her own strange detachment, a momentary blankness. Eiji sits alone, the food untouched, the forced cheer gone. He knows something is deeply wrong. The scene shifts to a quiet street, a young boy returning home. He steps inside and looks up. A silhouetted figure hangs from the ceiling. On the wall, a chilling message is scrawled. I am sorry for giving birth to a child of a murderer. The boy screams. He covers his face, collapsing to the floor. The words on the wall loom over him. A silent countdown begins. Counting down to nothing. 0. The boy, now with bandages on his face, stares out, wide-eyed and terrified. Eiji is back in his room, sitting on the bed, hands clasped. He remembers. He washes his hands. Again, Kyoka is nearby, but a shadow falls between them. Later, Kyoka smiles gently at him. They lie in bed together. He watches her sleep, her face peaceful. Then, a few days later, on November 11th, Kyoka looks at him, her expression serious. Let's break up. Eiji is stunned. He tries to laugh it off, dismissing it as a joke. Kyoka questions him. His smile is cruel. To be honest, you were nothing more than a fling in the first place. I just wanted to fuck you. He walks past her, his hand raised in dismissal. Kyoka stands frozen. Her hand clenches into a fist. Tears stream down her face. Even if you were joking. That hurt. Eiji, alone again, feels a sharp pain. He clutches his fist. It hurts. He collapses, knocking over a trash can. He looks at a photograph of Yoko Hatanaka. The officer's words echo in his mind. If the killer is targeting women connected to him, just like the B murders 15 years ago, then Kyoka is in danger. He wipes his face, a desperate realization dawning. His lie, his cruel words, were meant to protect her. He dials 110, the emergency number. The operator answers, calm and professional. Eiji struggles to speak, sweat beading on his forehead. He tries to form the words. K. His eyes widen in terror. He can't say it. The operator tries to calm him, but Eiji is paralyzed by fear. His eyes are wide, fixated on something unseen. Numbers appear, scratched into a surface. 90-1478, and the names say. Eiji sits, phone pressed to his ear, wide-eyed and paralyzed by fear. The operator's calm voice asks if he's okay, urging him to breathe. But Eiji can't speak. He can only stare at the scratched surface before him. A name, Sai, and a phone number, 0901478. He fumbles an apology to the operator, claiming it was a mistake, a wrong number. He bows his head, profusely sorry for calling the police. But his mind races. This writing, he believes, is from BI. It could be a clue. He dials the mysterious number. A man answers. Eiji recognizes the voice. The caller, surprised by Eiji's different number, invites him to grab a bite. He wants to thank Eiji for something that happened the other day. Eiji hesitates. He doesn't know this man. It feels dangerous. But if BI isn't the murderer, turning himself in is pointless. To protect Kyoka, he needs the truth. even if it means putting himself in danger. He agrees to meet at Station I. His heart pounds as he walks towards the meeting point. He is picked up by a dark SUV. Inside, two menacing men await. One with spiky hair and tattoos, the other with dark braided hair, smoking. AG realizes he has stepped into a den of beasts. Meanwhile, Officer Momo is approached by Isun, a freelance writer. He questions her about the college girl's corpse, asking if Eiji Urashima is connected. Isun suggests the murder is a copycat of the 15 murders from 15 years ago. Momo dismisses him, but he insists he has valuable information about Eiji. Momo has a lead on Yoko Hatanaka. Security footage from a cafe shows Yoko meeting a man just before her disappearance. Momo believes this man is crucial to the case. The footage plays. And then, a shocking reveal. The man in the footage is Eiji Urashima. The spiky-haired man yells, furious at Eiji's lie. Officer Momo immediately orders Eiji to be brought in. Kyoka, horrified, grabs Eiji's arm, pleading for them to wait. The footage continues, showing Eiji and Yoko leaving the cafe. Then another figure appears. A close-up reveals a tattoo on the back of their neck. Skull. Eiji is shocked. He recognizes the name. Skull. A notorious organization known for theft, rape, and violence. The men in the car with Eiji react with alarm. They are members of Skull. The spiky-haired man introduces Eiji to the others. He reveals Eiji is the son of the legendary murderer, LL Makoto Hachinoi. The other men react, calling Eiji a villain down to his blood. The spiky-haired man smiles. Eiji is joining Skull. Eiji's eyes widen in disbelief. The spiky-haired man praises Eiji's skills, saying he has what it takes to become his right-hand man. He attributes this to Eiji sharing the blood of a charismatic demon. Eiji is aghast. The men then turn to the matter of Yoko Hatanaka. Eiji's eyes twitch. The man with glasses laments the resources poured into her, and how the Vips loved her. Her disappearance is truly regrettable. The Vips, they say, were getting worried about the sparks burning them. Eiji looks down, a quiet amen escaping his lips. The men offer a mocking prayer for Yoko. Then, the spiky-haired man sticks out his tongue, revealing a skull tattoo. He laughs, dismissing the sentiment. Eiji gulps. If they run out of stock, they'll just prepare new goods for their customers. These men are far more dangerous than he imagined. But perhaps, by venturing into the heart of Skull, he might finally find the truth he desperately seeks. It is November 6th, Sunday. Eiji finds himself inside a club called Lust, a place that belongs entirely to the criminal organization, Skull. Once a month, the top brass of the gang gathers here to grill meat, and tonight they are welcoming Isun, Eiji's alias, to their ranks. The man with light-colored short, spiky hair urges Eiji to eat, offering him high-end meat, but Eiji can barely bring himself to touch it. His mind is consumed by a horrifying memory. Yoko Hatanaka, crying, blood on her face, holding a severed ear. He sees Nami, sitting on the floor, distressed, near a tied-up man with blood on his face, identified as Hiro-kun. The other Skull members, including the man with dark, braided hair, casually smoke and laugh about Hiro-kun's ear. Nami cries out in despair, her pleas ignored by the brutal men around her. The man with shaved head yells at Nami to shut up, pulling her hair, accusing her of sobbing just like Yoko. He tells her that her job is to seduce men, to ease their rock-hard boners, and to act pure for their guests, no matter how many men she's been with. The man with dark hair and glasses adds that she isn't allowed to feel anything until they've raked in that dough. Nami, defiant, screams that she fell in love and refuses to sell her body anymore. Eiji is shocked. The pieces click into place: VIPs, goods, new goods if they run out of stock. He realizes Skull is involved in prostitution, and Yoko Hatanaka was one of their products. Meanwhile, Officer Momo reports to the chief that Yoko Hatanaka was selling her body, and Skull is behind it, pulling the strings. The chief recognizes the gravity of the situation, mentioning Yashiro Sai, the leader of Skull. Officer Momo demands an investigation into Sai and Urashima, noting that if the culprit targets women selling their bodies, it matches the MO of the 15 murders from 15 years ago. The chief warns them to be cautious, fearing something even more dangerous could be lurking. Eiji, deep in thought, knows he needs more information. He resolves to act like the Skull members to dig deeper into their organization. The man with shaved head discusses what to do with Hiro-kun, the tied-up pretty boy who seduced their product. Nami pleads for them to stop. Suddenly, the man with dark hair and glasses suggests Eiji decide Hiro-kun's fate. He points to a tray of tools, including a can of gas. The Skull members are eager to watch LL's son at work. AG is stunned, realizing they want him to perform an act of torture, to prove he is truly the son of the legendary serial killer. Some of them express doubt, calling him a weak coward with no balls. AG reaches for a tool. He picks up a torch and activates it, a flame igniting. He grabs Hirokun's head, the tied man making muffled sounds of terror. AG looks at the injured man, his face covered in stitches and blood. He thinks to himself, if learning the truth is connected to protecting Kyoka, and earning their trust will bring him closer to that truth, he will do anything. Hirokun gags and spits, his face contorted in pain. The man with shaved head challenges AG, asking if he's getting cold feet. AG speaks, echoing words he attributes to his father. He states that the most difficult thing about torture is not killing the subject. Brainless trash who only think about hurting their prey are amateurs. He says, because humans die so easily from shock or blood loss. He continues, describing how LL was exceptional for making his prey endure insufferable torture over and over, all while still alive. AG then questions why he stopped the torture, despite it being a perfect torture to cauterize the wound and inflict pain. He explains that torturing an unconscious man is like fucking a woman who doesn't move. It kills his boner. The Skull members erupt in laughter, finding AG's reasoning hilarious. AG joins in, feigning excitement, but internally admits that everything he just said about his father was a lie. He was so scared he almost pissed himself. The man with shaved head praises AG, calling him a riot. AG hopes he has won Skull's trust, believing they don't suspect anything. The man with shaved head apologizes for doubting AG, admitting he's a huge fan of LL and couldn't believe he was meeting the legendary murderer's son. He asks AG for an autograph. Other Skull members quickly line up, also wanting autographs from LL's son, AG Urashima with Malice Aforethought. AG reflects on the strange feeling of being accepted, a stark contrast to a lifetime of being hated and labeled as a murderer's son. Here, the label is like a medal of honor. He wonders if his other self, Bai, found a place he belonged within Skull. But AG reminds himself that he has an entirely different reason for being there. He is there to find the truth. Did Bai kill Yoko Hatanaka? Or was it someone else? His next step is to extract all information Skull has on Bai and Yoko Hatanaka. Meanwhile, Nami is outside, trying to call someone, but the call fails. She looks worried, then enters a building. Inside, she opens a drawer and finds a bag filled with stacks of money and photographs. Nami then goes to AG's door, ringing the doorbell repeatedly, asking if he's home and if they can talk. She presses her ear against the door, desperate for a response. Back at the club, the man with light-colored, short, spiky hair asks AG why his father tortured his victims before killing them. The man with shaved head explains that in ancient times, torture was used to cleanse people of their sins, the suffering seen as punishment for hell. He adds that LL's targets were all prostitutes, and to him, prostitution was a symbol of sin. LL conducted murder rituals to cleanse them. The man with shaved head concludes, calling LL a purity fag. AG, feigning laughter, worries he won't get any real information before the night ends. He considers if Yoko Hatanaka's murder was also for her sins. He realizes that if anyone here knows the link between Yoko's murder and the LL murders, information not released to the public, it would reveal a deeper connection. The man with shaved head dramatically declares that Yoko Hatanaka's punishment for refusing to spill the truth was to have her mouth crammed shut, never able to speak again. AG is shocked. She refused to spill the truth? The man with shaved head, sticking out his tongue to reveal a skull and crossbones piercing, announces that this leads to the main topic of the night. A large, aggressive American pit bull terrier named Billy is brought out. The man with shaved head explains that Billy is a champion dog fighter, the strongest breed, a serial killer of the dog world. He then asks if anyone has heard of the LL files. The other Skull members discuss the files, a collection of records describing how LL tortured his victims, supposedly leaked by the police. The man with shaved head smiles, revealing he's always wanted to try one of the methods described, feeding a living victim to a dog. AG is horrified. The gang members are excited, suggesting they drag in a random person from a rival union. The man with dark, braided hair suggests feeding the dog, the traitor. The man with shaved head reveals that 6 days ago, on Halloween, their money transporter was attacked. 2 culprits used a bat to hospitalize their men and stole 60 million yen. It was a clean job. indicating the culprits knew exactly where the money was kept and how it was stored. This means the attack had to come from an insider, one of the top brass who knew their security holes. Each of the two culprits would have walked away with 30 million yen. AG is overcome with a sudden, horrifying realization. He screams internally, "Are you fucking kidding me, Bai?" The other Skull members dismiss the idea of one of them being a traitor, calling it fucking stupid to betray Skull for 60 million yen.